Welcome back, my Genealogy Gems. I'm so glad you're joining us here on the Genealogy Gems YouTube channel. I'm Louise Cooke, coming to you from Roots Tech 2017. And I'm guessing there are lots of you out there who are just like me, who have Irish roots. And you may not be a beginner in genealogy, but when it comes to the Irish research, it gets intimidating. You hear the horror stories. Oh, there's no records, there's things lost. I myself have been a little bit timid to jump into the pool. And that's why when I met up with Donna Moughty at a recent conference, we got talking, and she is an Irish expert. And I thought, doggone it, we're all going to jump on this boat together and learn how to do Irish research. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lisa. Really appreciate the time.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here. And I know that you, first of all, you do research trips like every year or something. You're over there all the time.
Yeah, I love going to Ireland. And I do, for about the last 5 years, I've been doing research trips every October over to Ireland.
So you're working with people who are saying, I would really like to make that trip. And I bet that one of the first things you must have to do is kind of just help them to make sure that they have what they need to bring with them, information-wise, to have some success.
It's really important that in order to do Irish research and to be successful over there, you really have to know where in Ireland your ancestors came from.
Yeah.
And that's usually the biggest block.
It's hard.
So it is.
Yeah.
And so usually I do a consultation with everyone when they register for the trip. And if somebody's not ready, I'll tell them. They're not ready to go. They need to do some more U.S. research, because your research really has to begin at home.
It really is a two-prong. There's a U.S. research component, and then there's an Irish record research component. And I'm sure what scared me off was long ago when I had first thought about tackling my Irish ancestors, I just thought, oh, I'll just try to jump into these Irish records. And you do. You get discouraged and realize you're not prepared. And then you move on to the easier families, right?
Yeah.
And when we started working on these new guides, and I was talking to Donna about, I'd love to have a quick guide, something that could help people with the prep side in the U.S. and then take them into the Irish and really dig in. And so much has changed as far as what's online now and what's available. I imagine you don't always have to make a trip in person, do you, to have some success in Irish records?
No, you really don't. I mean, it's been such an exciting time over the last 5 to 8 years with the digitization of Irish records. And in fact, this fall, they put the civil registration records online, which is just very exciting. So, but you do need to start at home, and you need to look at all of the records that your ancestor left here. I always like to start with a death record and then work backwards. And you may find on your death record, if your ancestor was born after 1864, then perhaps you can, and have some idea of where they were from, you can jump right into those civil registration records as well and find them in those records.
And that's what this guide was all about, right? And we talked about the possibility of making it, what if it's just general immigration? But you had so many tips and tricks that were really specific to Irish research. Things like what year, right? And what are you going to see if they immigrated in 1910 versus what are you going to see in an immigration record of 1880? And you really kind of customized this. So tell us a little bit, what can they expect from this quick reference guide? As far as, I see a kind of a research chart here. What are we trying to accomplish here?
Well, we're really trying to make sure that we get all of the information that our ancestors left here in this country. The exhaustive research of the genealogical proof standard that we talk about.
Yes.
So going through and finding those, we need to have a location in Ireland, but we also need to have a corroborating detail, some bit of information that will allow you to determine which Michael Daly in Ireland is yours.
So this is what makes this person unique, whether it's that they have this combination of siblings and this parents, and sometimes
in this location.
Exactly. And we hear Michael Daly and we think, oh, well, I'll never get anywhere. But that's not true, is it?
No, it really isn't. I sort of started out that way. I didn't know where in Ireland Michael Daly was from, other than Irish Town, and there are 36 Irish towns in Ireland.
Yeah, not just common names, but common places.
Common places. And actually, if you go in and look in civil registration between 1880 and 1890, there are actually 217 Michael Dalys.
Wow.
So you need to have some other bit of information that'll allow you to find out which one of those is yours.
Uh,
And that's really what the research chart on the inside talks about, how you look and what kinds of records that you can look at that will answer your research question.
mhm.
Because it's important to have a question. Research starts with a question.
It
So
does.
rather than just going into the front page of a search engine and typing in Michael Daly, by
Exactly.
the way, there's over 3 million hits in Ancestry on Michael Daly.
Wow.
You really need to isolate the type of record you want to look at
Mhm.
and the time frame that you're looking at, because at different times records will have different information in them.
You're kind of helping them put together a research plan, if you will,
Right.
that's targeted to the Irish
Mhm.
preparation. And that's what this is all about. And, we talked a lot about, there are books out there on Irish research, but this kind of a guide will sit with you by your desk or tuck into your bag as you take it to the, family history library, and you can refer back to it. And we've really whittled this down to the nuts and bolts. I know she wrote this, and I worked as editor, and I love how absolutely packed it is, that we could
Yeah.
get it into 4 pages and really help people refer back to it and get what they need. And the other one, just to kind of wrap up, is the Irish civil registration and church records. So you've helped us get all prepped. Now we really know where to dig in.
Right. Now, once you can finally jump the pond over into Ireland, we talk about some of the really exciting new information that's come online in the last 2 years, that allows you to actually do this research, which before that time you had to do in Ireland. And now you can
Exactly.
do it online.
And you open the doors to that. Well, if you want to learn more about it, you'll find it at the genealogygems.com website. And Donna Moughty, of course, has been on the blog and will be on the podcast. So many exciting times for people who are doing Irish research. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.